Members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that the Book of Mormon is an ancient record translated by Joseph Smith from golden plates shown to him by an angel. But what if the Book of Mormon is not what it seems? Did you know that you can now use artificial intelligence like ChatGPT to easily discover the exact areas that the Book of Mormon was plagiarized? It's true. You can simply ask ChatGPT to provide direct examples of plagiarism, where the same errors from modern publications were copied over. That proves it was not translated from an ancient Reformed Egyptian book that had been buried in the hillside. It reveals that the Book of Mormon was in fact cobbled together by copying directly out of other books that already existed, and then filling in the gaps with fiction. Let's dive into the evidence that raises critical questions about the origins of the Book of Mormon. First, it's essential to understand that the Book of Mormon is filled with direct quotations and paraphrased content from the King James Version of the Bible, the translation that Joseph Smith had access to in the early 19th century. This leads to a significant concern. If the Book of Mormon were indeed an ancient translation, we wouldn't expect it to replicate the same errors and peculiarities found in a 17th century English text. Here's how we can break it down by addressing the context behind each example, explaining why certain phrases or errors demonstrate that they couldn't have come from an ancient source. Hear ye this, O house of Jacob, which are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi 20:1. Hearken and hear this, O house of Jacob, who are called by the name of Israel, and are come forth out of the waters of Judah. Why is this a problem? The phrase, out of the waters of Judah, is actually a mistranslation from the Hebrew. Most modern translations correct this to, from the loins of Judah, or something similar. The original Hebrew refers to descent or lineage, not literal waters. The fact that the Book of Mormon repeats this exact mistake shows that Joseph Smith was copying from the KJV, rather than translating from ancient records that would have used the correct wording. If the Book of Mormon were an ancient translation, we wouldn't expect it to contain the same mistranslation. 2. Isaiah 2:4 verses 2 Nephi 12:4. Bible Isaiah 2:4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi 12:4. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Why is there a problem here? Well, this is a direct copy of the KJV wording, right down to the distinctive phrasing and punctuation choices. The KJV's use of plowshares and pruning hooks reflects 17th century English style, not ancient Hebrew or Egyptian. An authentic ancient text wouldn't use these specific English terms because they are not a direct representation of ancient vocabulary. If Joseph were translating ancient plates, the wording would likely differ. The use of these words clearly proves that the authors of the Book of Mormon were simply copying directly out of a modern publication of the Bible that had those same mistranslations. If Joseph was translating from an original source from 400 BC, then there would not be these European mistranslation errors copied over. Let's keep going. Whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. Book of Mormon, 3 Nephi 12:22. Whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of his judgment. Here is the problem. The phrase without a cause in the KJV is a later addition not found in the earliest Greek manuscripts. It's known to be a textual error added by later scribes. Modern translations omit this phrase, restoring the original meaning. Whosoever is angry with his brother shall be in danger of the judgment. The fact that the Book of Mormon retains this scribal addition from the KJV strongly indicates that Joseph Smith was copying the Bible's wording and not translating from ancient plates, which would have reflected the original text. If Joseph Smith was actually translating honestly, then the Book of Mormon would not have this modern-day error pasted into it. Bible, Isaiah 9:1. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward did more grievously afflict her by the way of the sea, beyond Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi 19:1. The land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterwards did more grievously afflict by the way of the Red Sea, beyond Jordan in Galilee of the nations. Let's look at the issue here. The version of the Bible Joseph Smith copied out of has the same mistranslation. When it says by the way of the sea should refer to the road of the sea near the Sea of Galilee, not the Red Sea, which is much further away. Again, this error appears in the Book of Mormon, despite the fact that ancient records would not have included this mistake. This further shows that the Book of Mormon's text was copied out of a version of the Bible that contained the same errors, not with an authentic ancient source. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. Book of Mormon, 3 Nephi 25:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. There is a big problem with this one as well. The phrasing here is an exact match with no changes at all. Again, this is KJV English, a translation made in the 1600s, not an ancient record from centuries earlier. Ancient texts would have had their own phrasing and cultural context, rather than this exact match to 17th century English. Why does this matter? In total, scholars have identified over 200 instances of direct copying or close mirroring between the King James Version Bible and the Book of Mormon, including the specific errors and translation quirks that are unique to the KJV. This is compelling evidence that Joseph Smith wasn't translating from ancient golden plates, but instead was copying from the Bible available to him. These examples are important because if the Book of Mormon were truly an ancient record, we would expect it to differ from the KJV in both content and style, reflecting the original languages of ancient Hebrew, Greek, or Egyptian. Instead, we see word-for-word matches, even in places where the KJV contains known translation errors or later additions. This strongly suggests that the Book of Mormon was composed using the KJV Bible as a source, rather than being an independent ancient document. To verify these claims, you can compare these texts directly by using AI tools like ChatGPT. Just prompt it to compare the Book of Mormon with the KJV Bible and ask for instances where the wording is identical or contains the same translation errors. This will reveal the extent of the copying for yourself.